Hello Cancer, and welcome to your full moon reading for March 2023. So we are having full moon just a few days after we hit the beginning of this month, and these are quick short readings just to go from moon phase, full moon phase to new moon phase, to add to what we're seeing coming up through the month of March to give you a more full picture. So this is the theme that you're actually working with. We're going to get into that. I know it's a little bit overexposed. Sorry about that. So it's just the time of day. I'm actually working on getting better lighting. I have a ton of natural light in here and it just kind of like overexposes everything. So I apologize for that. So that's what we have showing up first. And we're going to take a look at what kind of guidance you're getting. I feel like there is a second card actually along with that. Seems like you're in transition, Cancer. Definitely looking at transition, and there's some things that are ending, being let go of. I'm feeling this card here. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So we're going to look at each one of these more in depth. So, okay. So starting out with where in life like there is to look at. So one of the things that I want to say is with these full and new moon readings, they are much shorter readings. They're meant to be like little snippets of what to pay attention to in each of these moon phases. Usually the build up to the full moon is like really potent, and once you get to the full moon, it's like pregnant with, ripe with possibilities. And then I would say within about, a day after, we start to move into that waning phase, and we start to pay attention to like what loose ends need to be closed, like what loops need to be closed, like where do we need to wrap things up and what things do we need to release and let go of, right? So I definitely feel like and it's a collective reading, so obviously it's not going to hit for every single Cancer rising or Cancer sun, but what we see here is that, you're in transition. Being in transition is not always comfortable. There is this kind of like swinging between places and having this kind of like, holy shit, I don't know where I'm going to land on the other side of this feeling, but also it's potent, about an hour after we have the peak of the full moon, we have Saturn ingressing into a new sign. So Saturn ingresses into a new sign once every 2.5 to 3 years, meaning that it has a more of an impact than the more personal planets, right? So, and obviously like where this is happening for you, which area of life depends on which house it's transiting. So without getting too much into that, just to say like we are moving through an intense transit, which is, a really big transit right at this full moon. So I'm not surprised that this card is coming up. And I think that for some of you, this is going to be a period of transition where you're really going to feel it. I mean, you're Cancer, right? So if you have strong Cancer placements, you're probably feeling really sensitive to the energy and what's happening. So in this process, and I feel like this is a process of alchemy, we have Temperance showing up in your reading, and that is, well, we'll get to that, but it's like there's an alchemical feeling to this particular card. So part of your spiritual advice that your guides are talking about is like, hey, you're carrying too much on your shoulders. You need to put some of this down. So as you're moving through this process, for some of you Cancers out there, whether this is related to, like, you could be in transition with a relationship or with a career choice or like whatever it is, right? Moving somewhere, whatever it is. And it's just that you're taking too much on your own shoulders and you're just bearing the brunt of this, and it's just too much. You can't continue to carry all of this. You have to offload some of the pressure. You need to delegate some of the stuff out. You need to let go of whatever it is that you're carrying. If it's emotional, if it's like feelings that are really heavy, like resentment or fear or like whatever it is, then face it and deal with it and like let it go. Because this process, like from now, like I was saying, from the full moon into the new moon, every cycle we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to let go and to release. And so you're really being encouraged to step into that process. And so I feel like this energy is very much aligned. And then we move into the rest of your advice, which is, I feel like, transformative, right? So the Temperance card, as you can see right here, there are these two cups with water flowing, or a liquid flowing between them. There is the blending of these two different substances to create a brand new one, like the blending of the two of them, right? Like the cups going from cup to cup, like in and out, blends them, and instead of them being one, it starts to blend and create a new entity that is inseparable, right? It becomes connected. And so within that, there is this sense of creating harmony and finding the middle path, creating a new path that is a blend of both paths. So, you know, again, because it's a collective reading, this could apply to a lot of different things, but, you know, let's say it's between, like, a really good example, a really easy example is work-life balance, which you guys, if you've been watching my videos, it's kind of like a really easy go-to for me to give this example, right? But let's say that you're trying to balance these things out and you feel pulled to really focus in your career path and blah, 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 but then you also feel really focused on, you know, developing your home environment, your sanctuary, your relationship, or whatever, if you live with someone. And so there is this, maybe you feel like both parts are so strong that it feels like they're almost at an impasse. Like, how do you actually blend them? And so this is about you alchemizing and finding a win-win in this situation, finding a space of harmony and figuring out how you can blend them together to create something that feels more harmonious, right? So, and there's also a sense of staying true to yourself in this process. One of the things about the Temperance card is definitely staying true to yourself. So I would say make sure that you are present to what is, like, don't lie to yourself. No white lies. No one else has to know how you really think or feel about a situation or a person or a project or whatever it is. But you, at the very least, need to be honest with yourself. And so if you can just get really present with how you actually feel and what is true for you in this moment, because personal truths change, right? Ultimate truth doesn't, right? So in this moment, and from the best of your ability, if you can be in integrity with that and get really aligned and stay true to yourself, I think that you can find a way to blend the elements together that feel really heavy. It's like, clearly you're going through a transition. Clearly there are things that feel too heavy and that need to be let go of. And so in this process, if you're able to find your middle path and be honest with yourself, I think that you're going to find your way through this. So if you want a more full picture of what this month looks like, I would say definitely check out your monthly March reading, which I just recorded a few days ago and is up on YouTube, and that'll be up here on the screen. And, you know, if you want to know specifically for what it is for yourself, you know, 30, 60, and 90-minute readings links are all down below, so you can check that out. So I will see you in the next video. I hope this was helpful. Bye.